Good day, everyone. In this video, we will be tackling the great ideas of politics under the story of My Father Goes to Court by Carlos Bulosan. So, before we proceed to our discussion, let's have first a pretest. Number 1. Number 2. Number 3. Number 4. And lastly, number 5. Before we start, let's read our objectives. Number 1, understand the great ideas of politics. Number 2, know the difference and ideas of equality, justice, and punishment. And number 3, relate these ideas to the story of My Father Goes to Court. The great ideas of politics typically refer to fundamental concepts and theories that underpin political thought and practice. These ideas often include concepts like democracy, justice, liberty, equality, authority, power, sovereignty, and rights, among others. They form the foundation for understanding and analyzing political systems, institutions, and behaviors. To further explain it, here's Mr. Eduard Lopez.
Good day, everyone. I'm Eduard Lopez, and I'm going to discuss to you the great ideas of politics. First, I'm going to define this great idea, and then surrounding this great idea, there is also a lot of great ideas, and I'm going to discuss one of it. And then I'm going to discuss and relate the great ideas of politics towards the story of Carlos Bulusan, which is My Father Goes to Court. So, let's start. Politics is defined as an idea of exercising power within a society, meaning it encompasses the activities, actions, and structures concerning governance, power relations, decision making processes, and public affairs within a society or community. It involves the distribution and exercise of authority, the formulation and implementation of policies, and the negotiations of conflicts, interest among individuals, groups, and institutions. Now, it is considered to be a concept surrounding a great idea because it offers a structured system for governing societies, enabling collective decision making, representation, and the management of resources and laws. It provides a framework for resolving conflicts, shaping policies, and promoting the common good. While politics can be complex and contentious, its fundamental aim is to facilitate the functioning and progress of communities, nations, and the world at large. At its core, politics is about the organization of society, the allocation of resources, the establishment of authority, and the governance of structure, and the resolution of conflicts and disagreements. This political idea primarily encompasses the societies we have today. If you trace it back to history, politics isn't that complicated. We have a leader and an inferior person that organize and dissolute power. But now, in this modern time, it became complicated but structured. Now, politics has different great ideas. In today's lesson, we are going to focus on three of these and relate it towards the story of My Father Goes to Court. These ideas are about equality, justice, and punishment. One of the great ideas of politics is equality. Equality is a state and assertion of being equal, of having rights and having opportunities in society. But to further discuss this idea, let's relate it back towards the concept or the idea of politics. In politics, equality asserts that, regardless of factors such as race, gender, religion, or socioeconomic status, every person should have an equal voice and standing in political decision making processes. This concept aims to eliminate the discrimination and promote fairness in governance and public policy, meaning fair treatment and representations of all individuals within a society, regardless of their background or characteristics, should be taken into consideration. This includes equal access to opportunities, rights, and resources. Let's take, for instance, the equalities we're facing today. Like in democratic societies, equal voting rights ensure that every citizen's voice carries the same weight in elections. Affirmative actions policies aims to address historical inequalities by providing marginalized groups with opportunities in areas such as education and employment. Gender equality in political representations seek to ensure that women have equal opportunities to uphold positions of power and influence, and many more. In a courtroom, or distributing equality by jurisdiction, there are principles we are also considering. Let's take, for example, the equal access to justice. It ensures that all individuals, regardless of their socioeconomic status, race, gender, or any characteristics, have the same opportunity to present their case and receive a fair trial. This principle requires providing legal representations to those who cannot afford it, ensuring prevention against discrimination in jury selection and court proceedings. Equal access also entails removing barriers to entry, such as excessive fees or complicated procedures, so that everyone can participate in the legal system on an equal footing. Ultimately, it aims to uphold the fundamental principle that justice should be blind and accessible to all. The second one is equal protection on rights. It ensures that all individuals are treated fairly and equally under the law, regardless of their race, gender, religion, or other characteristics. This principles mandates that legal proceedings and decisions must be unbiased and impartial. It prohibits discrimination or preferential treatment based on irrelevant factors. Essentially, equal protection ensures that everyone has the same opportunity to seek justice and receive a fair trial. And lastly, we have protection against discrimination. In court procedures, protection against discrimination is upheld through various legal mechanisms designed to ensure fair treatment for all parties involved. Judges are responsible for impartially applying these laws and ensuring that discriminatory behavior is not tolerated during proceedings. Additionally, legal precedents and procedural rules are in place to safeguard against biased treatment and ensure equitable access to justice for all individuals. Now, let us critique and analyze whether this great idea of politics that is centered towards equality is manifested in the story. In My Father Goes to Court, having a court trial is a symbol of equality because it showcases the principles of due process. In a trial, both sides have the opportunity to present their arguments and evidence before an impartial judge or jury. This ensures that each party has an equal opportunity to be heard and to receive a fair judgment based on the merits of the case, regardless of their social status, wealth, or any other factors. Thus, having a court trial emphasizes the idea that everyone is equal before the law and deserves a fair chance to defend themselves. The second one is opportunity to present an argument. In the story of My Father Goes to Court by Carlos Bolusan, it portrays the theme of equality through the lens of defense, because the father, a humble Filipino farmer, is unjustly accused of theft. Despite his modest background, he had the opportunity to defend and argue his innocence. This defense of the father symbolizes that the notion of everyone deserves a fair trial and equal protection under the law, regardless of their background or circumstances. The third angle in the story is the equal treatment under the law. Criticizing the story, it did not really emphasize this theme. Why? Because the father was accused wrongly, just because the one who demanded the case is a wealthy man. Though the trial had favored the innocent, just thinking about the accusation, you will find it absurd that the jury had entertained the case. Overall, in the story, the protagonist's father faces a legal battle, and the theme of equality highlights the importance of everyone being subject to the same laws and standards. It emphasizes the idea that justice should be blind and not influenced by factors such as wealth or power. This principle is essential for when maintaining societal order and uphold the rules of law. Equality is just one of the great ideas of politics. The second great idea is about justice, and this will be presented by Timothy Cecilia Valiente.
So, what is justice? Justice is a noun, and it is the quality of being just, righteousness, equitableness, or moral rightness. Let us now know the great idea of justice in politics. Justice in politics refers to the fair and impartial treatment of individuals, the equitable distribution of resources and opportunities, and the enforcement of laws that uphold the rights and dignity of all members of society. It involves ensuring that every individual is treated fairly and equally under the law, regardless of their social status, race, gender, or other characteristics. Justice in politics also entails holding individuals and institutions accountable for their actions and decisions and promoting a system that upholds the rule of law. The concept of justice in politics is often guided by principles such as number 1, equality. Justice demands that all individuals have equal rights, opportunities, and access to resources. It requires eliminating discriminatory practices and promoting equal treatment for everyone. Number 2, fairness. Justice seeks to ensure that decisions and actions are fair and unbiased. It involves considering the interests and perspectives of all stakeholders and making decisions based on objective criteria. Number 3, impartiality. Justice requires that decisions and actions be free from personal biases or favoritism. It emphasizes the need for impartial judgment and the avoidance of discrimination or prejudice. Number 4, accountability. Justice holds individuals and institutions accountable for their actions and decisions. It promotes transparency, integrity, and the rule of law, ensuring that those who violate laws or infringe upon the rights of others are held responsible. Number 5, human rights. Justice involves respecting and protecting the inherent rights and dignity of every individual. It upholds the principles of human rights, including civil, political, economic, social, and cultural rights. These principles of justice guide political systems and policies to create a society that is fair, equitable, and respects the rights of all its members. They serve as the foundation for building a just and inclusive political order. Here are some situations in the story of My Father Goes to Court where justice is observed or shown. Number 1. Courtroom. When the protagonist's father is falsely accused of stealing, the courtroom becomes a stage for justice. The judge presides over the case, ensuring that the both sides have an opportunity to present their arguments and evidence. This scene demonstrates the importance of a fair legal system where justice can be sought and obtained. Number 2. Father's Defense. As the protagonist's father defends himself against the false accusations, he presents his case with honesty and integrity. He maintains his innocence and provides a logical explanation for the misunderstanding. This showcases his commitment to truth and justice. Number 3. The Witness Testimony. During the trial, a witness comes forward and provides a crucial testimony that supports the father's innocence. This testimony serves as the evidence of the truth and helps to reveal the injustice of the accusations against him. It demonstrates the role of evidence and testimonies in the pursuit of justice. And number 4, the verdict. Ultimately, the court reaches a just verdict, acquitting that the protagonist's father of the false charges. This decision reflects the triumph of justice over prejudice and false accusations. It highlights the importance of a fair and impartial judgment in upholding justice. These situations in My Father Goes to Court illustrate the presence of justice within the story. They emphasize the importance of a legal system that upholds fairness, impartiality, and the protection of individual rights.
So, the third great ideas in politics is punishment. According to Google, punishment, it is a noun. It means the infliction or imposition of a penalty as retribution for an offense. Meaning, it is the consequences of someone's bad behavior or wrongdoings. Now, let's describe what is punishment in politics. It refers to the imposition of consequences or penalties on individuals, groups, or entities for perceived wrongdoing or violations of laws, regulations, or societal norms within the political arena. Meaning, it serves as a mechanism for maintaining order, deterring misconduct, and upholding the integrity of the political system. Now, let's discuss the principles of punishment in politics and where it was shown in the story of My Father Goes to Court. So, number 1, order. It refers to the stable and structured functioning of society. In the story, the protagonist's father is summoned to court, indicating the existence of a structured legal system that maintains order by resolving disputes and enforcing laws. Next is deterrence. It is the idea that punishment discourages individuals from committing crimes. In the story, the court summons acts as a deterrent, signaling to the father and others in the community that there are consequences for violating laws or norms. The third principle is justice. It is the concept of fairness and equity in the legal system. So in the story, the court proceedings aims to achieve justice by determining whether the father is guilty or innocent of the charges brought against him. So the fourth principle is values. It is a core beliefs and principles that guide behavior and decision making in society. In the story, it highlights societal values such as honesty, integrity, and respect for the law. The father's actions and the outcome of the court case may reflect these values and demonstrate their importance in the community. Lastly, prevention. It is an actions taken to stop something undesirable from happening. So, in the story, by holding the father accountable for any wrongdoing and imposing consequences, if necessary, the legal system in the story aims to prevent future offenses and maintain order within the community. These five principles intertwine throughout the narrative, shaping the father's journey through the legal process and reflecting broader themes of justice, morality, and societal order. Now, let's discuss the situations in the story of My Father Goes to Court where punishment is observed or shown. The first situation in the story is the initial summons. It is when the protagonist's father is summoned to court. It serves as a form of punishment itself. The summons indicates that he is being held accountable for some alleged wrongdoing, creating a sense of apprehension and fear of potential consequences. The second situation is the court proceedings. Throughout the story, the father's interactions with the judge and lawyers illustrate the potential consequences he faces if found guilty. The formal setting of the courtroom and the serious demeanor of the legal officials underscore the gravity of the situation and the possibility of punishment. And the third and last situation is the verdict. It is the climax of the story occurs when the judge delivers the verdict. If the father is found guilty, it would result in punishment, such as a fine or imprisonment. In conclusion, the story of My Father Goes to Court highlights the complexities and injustices that can occur within political systems, where power imbalances and personal grievances can lead to unfair treatment and accusations. It reflects the importance of fairness, empathy, and critical examination of evidence in political decision making. Additionally, it underscores the need for accountability and transparency to ensure that all individuals, regardless of their social status or background, are treated justly within the political realm. I hope that you gain a lot of knowledge in this video. Thank you for watching!